Parents and educators, do your students use those VR headsets that look really futuristic? I want to introduce you to these next two guests who use VR, virtual reality, in a really positive way to meet with students. Now, what do I mean by that? You know that Smart Social believes that social media isn't all bad. There's a lot of safety we teach, but we believe that you can use technology to shine online, to get your student a dream college, career, internship, and mostly to have a purpose online instead of just using all these tools with a pastime. So we do believe the internet is great. There's these Oculus VR goggles that are absolutely incredible that put you into a different world. There are dangers, and as you've heard from us before, if your students are chatting with unknown people and you're not there to intercept it or listen, perhaps that could be dangerous. But if you're there playing as a family and your student is learning STEM education, which you can do a lot of in VR, or they're doing all kinds of different things, it's absolutely powerful and it's something to consider. Now, there's a new Apple one coming out soon that's really powerful. There's going to be a lot of VR. It's not going to change the way we drive. It's not going to change everything tomorrow, but it is the future. And you're going to notice that if your students use it, they will light up and you'll see how they think of STEM education very differently. You're going to see them use their brains and their imagination a little bit different. So we do believe in this. We think it's powerful. The two experts you're about to hear from are doing some very powerful stuff, making VR not only more accessible to people, but also using it in a therapeutic way. So students will open up as they have something to do. If your kids are on Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, using their Oculus, find out a way to spend time where they're at rather than saying, Josh, I'm never going to use that stuff. You don't understand. I'm a busy lawyer, doctor, parent. I'm just trying to hold it together, Josh. I get it. I get it. But what your students are begging for, and they don't tell you this, but they would love it if their mom or dad or trusted uncle or aunt were to spend time on a topic and a subject that they love. You'll see them light up and they will feel so loved. You have no idea. Almost every student really wants that parent to just spend time and be interested in something that the student is almost an expert at and has wisdom at, and that's technology. So make your kids the expert, have them teach you how to use it. I'm Josh with smartsocial.com. Thanks so much for being a supporter. Please consider joining our newsletter at smartsocial.com. And if you're a district, a superintendent, or director, let's set up a call to talk about how we can help your district. Have a great day and enjoy the program.
Hi, I'm Christian Ulstrup. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Virgils, Inc. We use virtual reality to teach the next generation healthy technology habits, as well as connecting therapists with kids and teens in virtual reality.
I'm also a co-founder at Virgils. My name is Monet Goldman. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the Silicon Valley, and I use video games and VR with my clients to help them better process and be engaged in therapy.
Awesome. How can virtual reality be good for students?
I think virtual reality has its power in learning by really bringing in an immersive, almost theatrical aspect to it. So I went to Pearl Harbor. I've been there many times and they had an Oculus there, and I put on the VR headset and I got to see the planes going down and executing their maneuvers. And I was learning history and seeing the battle, and the graphics didn't need to be realistic. Perception that I experienced of being there was just above and beyond what I expected. Way better than looking at a picture book, maybe even better than watching on the History Channel. So, that kind of immersive experience is really going to draw students into your subjects.
So one of the things that we're really excited about with virtual reality is it allows for more empathetic connections between people in virtual spaces. So over the past 20 years, the primary digital media, it's been text-based, it's been, audio and now video, but there's some new interesting research that's come out in the last few years that shows that when somebody actually has an embodied experience in a virtual space, they're more likely to treat the person on the other end as a human being. And so it's entirely possible that as we go from 2D to 3D, perhaps strangers on the internet can actually be nice to each other.
Excellent. What would you two suggest for parents who want their students to be safe on VR while still learning?
It is precarious because I have jumped into Rec Room and all these little chats. A lot of games are becoming more social, so the moderators there might not be as hands-on. So I'd really recommend parents to do a VR game with them. It really helps your relationship with the kid. I work with a lot of kids who have strained relationship with their parents, and when their mom or dad just sits and watches them play, they really enjoy that.
What dangers do you want parents to know about VR?
For me personally, it's a time suck. So I have to set an alarm to get me out because I'll do VR therapy in session. And if I didn't have that alarm, I would be late. But of course, there's also the social aspect of being careful who your child is socializing with. Anybody could be anybody out there. So the more involvement in a positive way, a sociable way that you can be in your kids' VR experience, that's for the best.
I think something that, parents should be mindful of is virtual reality, immersive experiences. They're very compelling and they can be very visceral, which can be great if you're using them for the purposes of individual empowerment or education or socializing in a healthy way. The problem is, though, that you imagine you're playing a really exciting video game on a 2D screen. People can lose hours in those. Now imagine that in 3D. It's half your day could be gone and you don't even remember what you were doing beforehand. So that's something to be really mindful of. One is just it's more engaging. And then two, if you do have a bad interaction with somebody online, if somebody sends you a mean tweet or you have an interaction that's not healthy, it's a lot easier to step away from a screen and you sort of have a physical barrier. But when you're in virtual reality, unfortunately there are cases where people, get into other people's physical space, make rude remarks, and it's actually quite difficult to get away, and it can be more of a toxic experience. So 2 things to really be mindful of.
Excellent. What other tips would you tell parents on how to navigate VR with students?
I think it could be important, and probably the most difficult part for the parents is to be familiar with the settings and the technology. Oftentimes the kids are going to be more technologically advanced and savvy, which does put the parents at a disadvantage. And I know it's hard being a parent, especially if you have multiple kids. So putting in that initial kind of time investment to kind of learn how things work. There are, I guess, other parents that are probably using VR. And I would encourage you to talk with other parents as well about this topic. And you could even have like play dates. I know some people have like VR birthday parties. VR is definitely becoming more mainstream. There's a lot of pop-ups. Have had an amazing time at Sandbox VR too, if you want to play fun, just super fun family game.
What are some final tips that you would get to parents to navigate this with their kids in a fun way to make it a family activity?
It's a great question. I think even more than two-dimensional digital media, what's great about VR is it is actually more accessible. We were all born as embodied people. You don't have to learn how to type or how to use a mouse or key commands or anything like that to have a great time in VR, and it can be a great way to connect. So very concretely, if you're interested about what's going on in your kids' lives, how they're using virtual reality and how to make it a family experience, get another headset, download an app like Demio is a great game. It's sort of a tabletop game. Gorilla Tag is another one that's really popular. Rec Room. One, you get to spend quality time with your family and your kids, which is great. And then 2, you get to kind of understand what their experience is. So if you do have to have a conversation where you're trying to understand, maybe you're having unhealthy, experiences when it comes to the technology, it'll give you a lot more empathy and it becomes more of a collaborative conversation rather than something where you're trying to dictate how they should or should not be using technology.
Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much. This has been terrific.